How long to stay? Oh, we're on the air immediately this week. Wow. Sometimes it takes forever. Hey, everybody. It's Sean. It's Tuesday, January 17th. And that means, I don't know, it means it's Cage Side Live time. I am joined by the one and only Cain A. Knight. What's up, man?
Hello, Sean Reuter. How are you doing?
I am doing well.
I'm doing well, too.
That's good. We're doing well. I hope everyone out there in podcast land is also doing well.
Everything is well.
That's good. They better be. Kurt Angle's back, motherfuckers.
I know. I'm still marking out over it.
I know. I still can't. I mean, I watched that video like 6 times last night. They only give you those WWE guys. They're smart. They only give us like 2 seconds of metal in that introduction.
When Titus O'Neil and Big E were wrestling, I was just watching Kurt Angle clips on YouTube. I was like, no.
Well, we'll get to that. So Gino's not here. He's pretty much an open book, so I don't think he would be upset with me just telling you he's been out sick. We were both getting sick last week. He's been having some ear problems, and it's just waylaid him. So that's why, if you haven't seen his byline on the site lately, and that's why he's not here today. So send him your well wishes. He loves to hear from you guys. So bother him. I don't know if he really hasn't been online much at all, but send him your positive energy, even though he would probably tell you that's bullshit. It doesn't matter. And hopefully he'll be back soon. So Cain and I are here to talk about stuff. I don't know. I missed the first half. I missed the first half of Raw, so I did watch clips and stuff. So I'm going to try to bullshit my way through that. But there's also, before we even get to that, so I don't know. You have any thoughts on the passing of Jimmy Superfly Snuka?
Well, we could talk about how WWE handled it on the show last night. Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, so I expected they would do the thing in the very beginning, which they did. In the very beginning, they did the quick, in memory. But right before the Martin Luther King video package and all that. And I thought maybe that would be it. And then they did go full bore with the actual, multiple minute video package, and that kind of a thing. And I don't know if I would have done that if I were them, but I don't know. Are you seeing backlash today related to that anywhere in the Twitter sphere?
I mean, there are a few people that I've seen. I haven't been on Twitter too much this morning. I've seen some complaints. For the most part, the feedback I've seen is that people thought they sort of walked the line okay.
Right. I think
he didn't get the 10 bell salute, which I think that would have been too far.
Well, right. When I say full bore, right, they didn't go full bore, right. They went the next step. I guess, the one comparison I'm seeing out there is, if O.J. Simpson died tomorrow, would the NFL come out with how would they be if they had a tribute video for 3 minutes on O.J.? What would that wouldn't go over well. It's interesting. It's a touchy situation, obviously, for their side, trying to figure out what to do. So, I
think that's the biggest thing for them is what makes this one different is his daughter still works for him. The most powerful man in Hollywood is related to him,
right?
And and they very much want to stay in the rock business.
Yeah.
So
I think with all that said, what they did is defensible from their standpoint on that. Even though I think you could say maybe they shouldn't have given even the video package, but it's understandable why they did it.
I think they could have. For me, like if I had been in charge. They'd probably be out of business. But if I was in charge, they would do like I might have even skipped the opening graphic, just kept that to Martin Luther King, and then done like a minute-long video that focused on people talking, like the back half of it where they showed the tweets, and maybe just do that, just like completely focused on this is what he did for our business. This is don't know. I don't know. I guess you have to do some sappy music. I don't know. I mean, they were in a hell of a position. I don't have a lot of sympathy for them, but I don't know. I guess as far as I'm not outraged by it. I guess I was expecting something, so maybe I'm not outraged because my expectations weren't really high.
Yeah,
which is kind of damning with faint praise, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, yeah,
it's just a shitty situation. Yeah. I don't really know what the hell the right answer is.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm older than you. I don't know if you have. I mean, I don't know if you have Snuka memories, but for me, that was like I'm in the Mick Foley camp. Like that motherfucker jumping off the cage in Madison Square Garden. That he was I liked him more than Hogan.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he was, and that's all. But that's already been ruined for me.
Right. I only knew him as I'm a couple years you have a couple years on me. So I only knew him towards like the latter half where he was Hulk Hogan's buddy, around the WrestleMania era, and so I didn't really see him in his prime, his prime years in the earlier '80s. So he doesn't have the same resonance for me. But I understood when I was younger and I first got into wrestling. My brother, who's 4 or 5 years older than me, was like, this guy's a big deal. Jimmy Snuka.
Oh, he was the guy, like when you're messing around like with your buddies or your brothers.
Right.
I mean, somebody gets up and does this and jumps on the bed, and I mean, yeah.
So I had a hype when I saw Snuka, and I'm a little kid, like, oh, it's that he's Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Superfly,
yeah. Which I guess I never really put it together, or I didn't pay much attention to it. But the reason he's Hogan's buddy is because all this shit happened. Like we didn't. '83 was a different world, so it wasn't news that this had happened, but. That's why he wasn't Hogan for McMahon. I mean, otherwise he might have been. So, yeah, it's just fucked up. And OJ's the good comparison because they both were never convicted, but I think they both lost civil suits.
Yeah,
I mean, so there's pretty clear. I mean, there's very little doubt that.
Right.
And that sucks. So, here we are. And all right, so let's talk about I don't know.
Well, we could go right to Kurt Angle, or we could just go from the start of the show.
Did you pay any attention to the United Kingdom Championship tournament stuff this weekend?
No,
I figured you didn't watch the show, but yeah.
I just saw the video package they ran yesterday. I saw some of it anyway. So did you watch it?
I watched Saturdays and I watched some highlights of Sundays. I was working and I had some other stuff, and there was football.
I'm the match times guru guy, so I'm hearing some buzz about how people enjoyed the shorter matches that packed a whole lot in there. Is that sort of your take on it from what you saw?
That was what they did. Saturday was, yeah, they definitely did that. I mean, they did 8 matches on Saturday. It was the whole first round in 2 hours. So yeah, there was nothing that was over 10 minutes. I don't think. I think that was the right call. I mean, for me, Saturday was it was interesting because of the venue and everything. There was some good wrestling, but
yeah.
The main thing that's interesting to me is like looking at Triple H's business plan, basically, the whole. And the fact that that motherfucker just unironically came out and said, "I'm starting my empire here," and people cheered like, "Yay, empires!"
Yeah, that's what Roman Reigns did wrong this whole time. He should come out with the Triple H empire.
Right, just run with it.
Yeah.
I guess we're supposedly gonna get like an Asia tournament. And a Latin America tournament, and maybe he's gonna like recreate the NWA under the WWE umbrella. And
he's just trying to get as many photographs of himself shaking hands with as many different wrestlers around the world. Somehow that will build up this goodwill. That's his business.
His Twitter is just 7,000 pictures of him going.
Right. Yeah. Like, I wish I could marry this guy, but I'm too old now.
Stephanie would get mad, and I need her. Yeah. So that was that. I thought it was a decent show. I don't know. I mean, I still have to go back and watch all of Sunday, and I don't know how I'm going to find time to do that.
Like, they have a championship, so how does this championship work? There's no show. Like, is he just touring around the UK defending this on random UK shows?
The rumor right now is basically that. Yeah, there's 3 promotions that they had. That they made a big show of showing the guys that own and book the promotions in the audience at the tournament. So they're the British and Irish evolves, and that's so yeah. Apparently, one of them is going to be the first indie that's going to actually be shown on the network.
Okay,
you'll be able to pull up ICW, which is the Scottish. They're like Scottish ECW, basically.
Right.
You might like them. You were an ECW.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, he's going to go to those other promotions, and they'll have one of the matches on their card will be a WWE UK Championship match.
Gotcha.
So, should be weird.
Yeah, it'll be a matter of time until Cody Rhodes has that championship.
It will, and he'll still somehow get mad because somebody called him Stardust, and because somebody else said something about his dad instead of him.
Yeah.
Oh, Cody. So Angle.
Yeah, I'm psyched, man.
Me too.
I'm already kind of skipping. I'm jumping right. Do you think he's going to wrestle again?
See, this is where this one sort of gets to a Snuka place for me too. Not anything that bad, but I'm conflicted about it because, God damn it, I want to see him wrestle.
I know.
I also believe in my heart of hearts that that's really probably bad for his overall well-being.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to die. I don't think. I mean, if there was an actual risk of him dying in the ring, I don't think they'd clear him. But I think they let him go in there, even if, I mean, it's like Lesnar. They'll claim he's a part-timer. They won't.
I mean, it comes down to this. If he can pass their physical, which I assume is legitimate and not some bullshit, then I think if he can pass it, I think he'll wrestle. I mean, I think it's that simple. I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon, he loves the guys from those years. And I understand Angle's a little different because there's a reason why he hasn't been back.
Right. And there's a reason why Vince sort of let him go.
Right. So. But I think, when you look at this WrestleMania card, there are so many part-timers now on this card that it's like, what's one more? I think it's just part-timer overload is what Vince really likes. So if he could get Kurt Angle, maybe part of the reason, we're looking at rumors of late, and it's like everything's off the table. We don't know what John Cena's doing. We don't know what Undertaker. Maybe Kurt Angle is part of that deal now. Maybe him versus John Cena's on the table. I don't know. Maybe he's part of the equation now. Maybe that's why things are changing. Who knows? The
other thing that I just thought of actually now is because I just did a post before we got on. Shane McMahon is supposed to open SmackDown tonight with some huge announcement.
Okay.
Shane and Angle are in one of the more famous matches of the Attitude Era. Maybe that's
it's probably the most famous, the best performance of Shane's career. The problem with that is, and they could certainly do that because last year they built freaking WrestleMania around Shane McMahon. So they think Shane's a big star. And even with the rumors, from a few days ago that Shane might wrestle AJ Styles at WrestleMania, and I know some people were like, "Oh, that's bullshit," and I wouldn't look forward to that match, but it tells me that they think highly of AJ Styles because in order to put him, I know it sounds dumb, but to get a match with, this isn't like Shane versus Test from early, from like 2000. Like getting a match with Shane is a big deal now. So not that it wasn't a big deal then, but it was kind of common then.
But now he's only doing one or two matches.
Right. So it speaks well for AJ's spot in the company if they do put him against Shane. But anyway, Shane versus Kurt Angle has the problem of that's a match that could kill Kurt Angle. Because Shane is not, he's not a safe word. He's not AJ Styles.
Well, that's like we just saw. I mean, Shane's Survivor Series match ended with him being carried out on, in La La Land because he probably got concussed, even though they won't admit that. And that match is famous for
Shane getting slammed through the glass.
Angle having a broken back or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. So there are a couple of guys that I don't trust to rein themselves in. They're gonna, if they got booked together, they'd be like, we got to top that.
Right.
You're 50 and almost dead. I don't care.
It's Shane has to rely on crazy spots that destroy his body at least in order, because that's what he's good at, So you will have that. It's not going to be a one-on-one match with no stipulations. There will be that thing where you can walk around the arena, whatever, you get weapons involved, whatever it is. There'll be
fight,
So if it happens, I don't think that's a great. I mean,
I don't think it'll happen. I was just thinking.
Sure, it's a possibility, right? Yeah. It's one of those things that you think of, like, because everyone enjoyed that first match so much that. Hey, maybe let's do it again.
And this is why, as we're doing this, and we were doing this in the cage side orifices, Mark and Kyle and I earlier, I think you jumped into that a little bit too. Rev was in there. We're running down this list of who would you want to see Angle face, and it's basically everyone on the roster.
Right.
and that's why it's probably going to happen. Like you said, if he can get his way through a physical, there's money to be made here, and they're going to probably do it.
Right. So even it's like and he's not even a guy where it's like you need him to face someone different that he's never faced before. He's faced Undertaker, John Cena, AJ Styles, all these Shane, like we're saying, he can face all, like even Brock Lesnar. He main evented a freaking WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
If they put him with Brock Lesnar again, I'd be super stoked for that match. Yep. Like Kurt Angle can go when we were doing the Greatest Wrestler tournament, for the last couple months, and I was ready to vote for Kurt Angle just about all the way. I mean, he's one of my favorite stars of all time. So yeah, there's not much he can do that I wouldn't be excited for in terms of in the moment watching him perform.
Well, and here's the other thing. The other great thing about Angle that I can say without any, qualms or conflicts is I can't wait for that motherfucker to just show up backstage and just be goofy with somebody, because that's why I probably would have. I mean, my voting in that tournament was a little spotty, but he's one of. I mean, I said it on Twitter last night. I mean, he to me is the last. I mean, he's the biggest possible comeback. I was never much of a Sting guy, a Goldberg guy, even a Warrior guy.
Right.
The only person that could trump Angle coming back for me would be Eddie Guerrero, and that is not possible in the metaphysical world. So, I mean, Punk would be huge whenever that probably happens, but still, that's going to be different. That'll be a different kind of thing.
Right. He's new. I mean, he's relatively recent. Kurt Angle hasn't been there in over 10 years. So, what's interesting with Kurt Angle is that throughout the fall when we're watching Jericho and Owens do their shtick, and a lot of times, independent of context, that they're funny and all, but then it's part of the reason why their main event storylines have kind of sputtered and not gone so well is because it's the seriousness. It's hard to switch from that comedy to trying to care about the angle. And with Kurt Angle's his ability, he could do the goofball comedy stuff and then in a blink switch it to the super serious badass. And being a legitimate gold medalist, I guess, contributed to that. But he could do the comedy and within the same promo be super serious badass guy. Like he never had the legitimacy, the issue of serious, crank it up to serious, appropriate level of seriousness with him. Even if he was doing goofball comedy earlier, he was amazing at that.
Yep, I can't. So I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, even if he doesn't get cleared, people are like he could manage American Alpha on SmackDown or something.
Right,
I mean, he could manage somebody against Rusev because those scenes would be, and they could. Rusev is probably the guy to me who might be the closest to Angle in terms of his overall package. He hasn't been pushed that way at all.
Right, he could be.
But he can do goofy to.
Oh yeah,
I'm scared he might kill me in one promo.
Rusev is one of my favorite guys in the company right now. They're not doing a ton with him right now, but he gets in there when he gets that mic in his hand. He drops in a few lines with that little shit-eating grin on his face, which are hilarious, and he's pretty awesome. So yeah,
he would be. I mean, he might be my top. Of the people that Angle's never faced before.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them. That whole program would be great.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we don't even know when he's showing back up, but he's in. It's official. It's not a dream.
I guess he won't be a surprise entrant in the Rumble, right? It's not much of a surprise.
No, I don't. We only got. I mean, I wonder how many surprise entrants we're gonna have. The Rumble.
The roster is really big, so they could fill it up easily with 30 guys and have no surprise entrants. I mean, there might not be too many of them.
I did last night. I was doing the confirmed entrance list. I don't know, man. I'm actually, I don't know about you. I mean, I'm really excited about the Rumble. I don't know. I mean, like with Mania, I like the fact that Mania isn't set in stone, but I'm already sort of resigned to the fact that it's going to be like 8 matches. It's going to be 17 hours long.
Yeah, at least.
And it's going to be 8 matches with with part timers that don't really matter. And
right, and so it's just like, can Cesaro get on the main card, please?
Yeah, this is what I was thinking. I'm since half my shirts say Cesaro on them, I'm wearing my colors on my sleeve. Obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
Anyway, so this is what I was thinking doing that Royal Rumble entrance list. So on the one hand, I'm like, cool, these guys there are no jabronis in here. This is all like important people. And then my second thought is, oh shit, that means Cesaro's going to get jobbed out immediately.
Yeah, so here's one of the things. It's when you look at in most Rumbles, a big man of some kind gets to eliminate 4 or 5 guys, right? There are a lot of big men in this Rumble that you would think WWE would want to eliminate 4 or 5 guys each. You have Brock Lesnar, you have Goldberg, you have Baron Corbin, you have Braun Strowman. I'm sure I'm missing one other one.
I mean, Taker's going to get...
Taker, right. Yeah. So right away, and I know obviously they're going to space those guys out. So, well, actually, maybe they want some of them.
They might not even be able to.
Right, because they do want some overlap there. Because Undertaker and Strowman's creepily watching him on a monitor a week ago, and you have Lesnar and Strowman faced off yesterday. So there's going to be overlap there. Not all of them are going to get to shine. I don't think. We'll see. But
I don't know.
And with Goldberg, we don't know if he can wrestle for more than 86 seconds. So maybe he's just going to go in there and do a quick angle at him and Lesnar and get him out of there real fast. Who knows?
If they're seriously going to do Lesnar Goldberg as the main event of Mania, maybe they're 29-30 and the ring is mostly cleared by the time. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be. I'm like I said, that's why I'm really interested in it.
Yeah, me too. And the rumor that they might actually close out Mania says to me they have a chance. One of them has a chance to win the Rumble now. Previously, I was thinking, they're just going to do an angle where they eliminate each other or whatever. But if they're going to close out Mania, it could be a championship match. I mean, so anything.
And Lesnar's going to be around for every show.
Right, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he wins. I don't know. I mean,
and this is the other. Do you remember? You don't obviously. This is you remember not, but at Fastlane, Goldberg is supposed to do a match, right?
Right.
And is Lesnar not scheduled for Fastlane?
Right now, the rumor I read this morning, I think from Dave Meltzer, said that Brock is not going to be booked for Fastlane.
Okay, so maybe Lesnar wins the damn Rumble and Goldberg wins the Universal title at Fastlane, and maybe that's how they get to Mania. Maybe that's what they do.
Which that'd be good. I mean, they've been teasing the Goldberg Reigns stuff.
Right.
So maybe Roman wins. I mean, I think at this point, I don't know. Everybody's sort of assuming that Reigns is winning the title at the Rumble. which kind of blows, but makes sense at the same. I don't know. I don't say that because I hate Roman. I just I don't know. I'm just disappointed in KO's reign, even though I know it's not the end of the world.
Right. It looks like Owens and Jericho will have the U.S. title probably be on the line in their match at Mania. It doesn't. Yeah. They don't need both freaking titles, so it's not that hot of a feud.
No, I mean they've got time to make it. I think they'll be fine. But,
I'm definitely looking forward to Owens and Jericho. I mean, I enjoy everything they do. So.
I just wish we'd got, like, over the last month, we've had these little flashes of, like, badass Kevin Owens again, like when he stood up to Goldberg. Yes. Even last night, I mean, it was predictable, I guess. It kind of means that he's definitely losing, that he's gotten to stand tall over Reigns in a big way. But it was still a cool moment where he's like, fuck this, I'm powerbombing this guy.
Right, and we need more. We didn't get nearly enough of that. We barely got any of that since August when he won it. Triple H handed him the title to start with. That wasn't a badass moment.
Disappeared.
At least Seth Rollins cashed in. I know cash-ins are if in some sense, but he did it himself. He actually went in there and did the curb stomp and all that stuff. So anyway, yeah. So Owens didn't even get to win the title on his own, basically. And then with the whole best friend storyline, he basically is so desperate to keep Jericho on his side that he's basically has no balls. So it's like, oh, come on, Chris, be my friend, that kind of thing. It's just kind of like, like I get it, makes sense for the story, but he doesn't look like a badass. So
no, and I guess that's oh, you have a fangirl, Cain.
I have a fangirl.
You know that?
I did not know that.
Caitlin, our Total Divas recap.
Oh,
Cain on CSL fangirl, and she's not sorry about it.
Well, that's awesome to hear, Caitlin. Thank you.
I thought it was just Jolie who was a Cain fangirl. Hey, Jolie, since I know you'll only listen because Cain's on. Hey, I'm not bitter about it or anything though. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's Jericho said it in interviews. The best friend stuff took off in a way they weren't really planning. So I guess, maybe he would have been booked differently if that hadn't gotten over so much. But I mean, I'll always regret it. I mean, hopefully he's got another 20 years and this is only his first big run. But
look, at the end of the day, Kevin Owens probably was not going to get one of the top 2 matches or 3 matches of WrestleMania because it goes to all the part-timers. AJ Styles isn't going to be one of the top 2 or 3 matches.
Unless he's facing Shane, right?
Right. Yeah. So like it's really tough to get those spots at WrestleMania because the part-timers take over. So if he gets a match at Jericho, 5th from the top or whatever, that's fine, Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I said it to Gino before. I mean, like, even like in July, I would not have predicted a Kevin Owens top star on Raw run.
Right.
Yet. So I know. I just, I'm a typical wrestling fan. I even when I get something I want, I bitch about how it should have been better.
Right. It should have been better.
Exactly.
I'm right there with you.
We are what we are. So I guess that was sort of so they were in the big Lesnar segment.
Right.
Top,
the talking segment. So in the beginning,
I'm going to pull up Reverend Cain's award-winning live blog.
So Roman Reigns comes out, talks about how he's not upset, he's not complaining about his loss, but, I forget what he was, whatever. He's not complaining. It's talking, everyone comes out, interrupts each other, and Seth Rollins comes out, he's mocking everyone for wasting our time with their words and all this stuff. And it's like, you're the worst offender of the bunch.
Right. 2015 was you doing this for the whole year.
So anyway, Strowman comes out. I don't even think he says a word. And he just gets right in Roman's face. And then I'm sorry, Heyman. I missed over Heyman.
Oh, anyway,
right. Heyman, he says things about the sword of Damocles, which he says every other promo and all this stuff. And then finally, when Lesnar comes out, then the segment got good. Okay, it was okay up to that point, but too much talking. And then Lesnar comes out and shit got real. And then Sami Zayn shows up out of nowhere, and he just comes up out of nowhere, which is a complete surprise. Jumps on Braun's back, and then Jericho and Rollins are fighting each other. Owens and Reigns are fighting each other. Strowman's fighting out with Zayn. Lesnar gets in the ring. All shit's. This was probably the best part of the show because Lesnar gets in the ring and everyone's. Lesnar's facing off with Sami Zayn, throwing him around. It was pretty great. So good start to the show.
Yeah, I watched I posted it. And this is how I watched it because I didn't get home until about 9. Was they they clipped in some of the talking, but then they pretty much just got to oh shit, Brock's gonna wreck everybody. Yeah, I guess so is this Sami Zayn's job now, is to be the guy that takes pins from Braun Strowman after trying really hard?
As soon as they booked the match, I said, "Oh, that's why Sami Zayn's there." It's because he's there to take the pinfall from Braun Strowman. Now, granted, lots of times when I see something that looks obvious to me, it doesn't pan out. This time it did pan out, and that seemed to be the high probability outcome, and that's exactly what happened. And now Zayn can go on to go back to his mid card stuff, I guess, until Strowman.
Well, I don't know. The only thing he's been doing is this Strowman.
Right. I guess. So, yeah, it's. I mean,
that's a guy that's not getting on the Mania card unless he's in I guess he'll either be in the Andre.
Right.
Or if they do the Intercontinental title ladder match as a cross brand thing.
Right. And you know what? Right now, I think fans of Sami Zayn have to hope he gets the ladder match if they do it, because I might put a higher probability on him getting the Andre right now. I don't know. It's tough to say. Obviously, no.
I mean, I don't know. The Andre to me, looking at that card, I think that's got to go on the pre-show. I don't think there's any way the Andre gets on the main card.
I mean, the New Day might be on the pre-show. It's gonna, unless they make the main card 6 hours long or something. It's gonna be tough because they have so many parts. It's gonna be Shaq, and I know that's a short match, Shaq, but you have Shaq.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna have build up.
I know.
To it.
Rock is gonna talk for 30 minutes. Triple H and Rollins are probably gonna fight for 45 minutes or something, and then
that because that's Triple H's go for the epic Mania matches. Make it long.
Right, Undertaker, AJ Styles, and Cena. Let's say somehow they could be in 3 different matches. They might not overlap with each other. They're each going to get a bunch of time. So Ambrose maybe and Miz do maybe a mixed tag with their women. Who knows? I mean, it's going to be tough for even the tag teams of any brand to crack this card.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, look at New Day, what they're doing right now. What team are they going to wrestle at WrestleMania that is going to be worth the main card? Even though the New Day had they're one of the most over acts on the show, but who is there for them to fight that's interesting at WrestleMania? I don't know. Well, last year they fought the League of Jabronis, so I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be an amazing opponent for them.
Yeah, it's and this is something that SmackDown has the same problem, in my opinion. WWE doesn't care about the tag teams, so there are only 3 established tag teams on Raw right now. 2 of them are feuding for the title, and then there's the New Day doing stuff with Titus for some reason.
Right.
So yeah, I don't see how they could have. I mean, I think they've got to be in some sort of multi-man thing. I mean, maybe they'll also. We'll probably also get a pre-show, a 4 tag team elimination.
You could we get 2 Andre battle royals, one for some lower card title, and then the other one for the tag titles or whatever. I don't know, or both brands tag titles will be on the line together in one Andre battle royal, and whoever the last surviving teams are from each brand win their respective titles or something. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense, and I could see it happen.
Right, and then whichever of those teams throws the other one out gets the trophy, the Andre trophy. So
I think they're going to have a SmackDown Andre and a Raw Andre, and then the winners of each fight over the trophy, and that's how the trophy gets smashed this year.
Right. Did the trophy get smashed last year? I don't know what Baron Corbin did with it.
Yeah, it just disappeared. He posed with it once, and then
he totally should have smashed it over Kalisto or someone by now. What's up?
He should have just smashed it anyway. Just been like, I'm rock and roll. I don't care.
Right. So
who won it? So Big Show, I don't know.
Big Show won it the year before. Cesaro won it the first
was the
year.
Initial one,
right? Yeah. And then Corbin was this year. So
did Big Shows get smashed? I know Cesaro's got smashed.
I don't remember.
And it doesn't matter.
I'm guessing it did because I kind of remember thinking, "Wow, Corbin's get smashed." So Big Show's probably did. So anyway, got to that tangent because we were wondering about Sami Zayn's spot on Mania. So Yeah, so Zayn, what did you think about the backstage little segment with, I don't know if you saw it, with him and Rollins?
I did.
I
watched the clip of it. Yeah, it's where he was like the third. He was the
right.
Guy.
Once again, it was pretty clear to me that Sami Zayn, they're not doing anything with him right now in terms of pushing him, because he comes off like just an awkward, I'm going to use a gallows word, I guess, but like a nerdy kind of a. Yeah. They're just rolling their eyes at him and walking away. It's like, oh man, like I get it that he's not super badass babyface or whatever, but to me, there's a better way to present him if you want to present him to look good there. I didn't really think he looked good there. I don't know. I guess they were going for some kind of lighthearted thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get distracted in all those segments because I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm still hung up on the fact that Roman is just hanging out with Seth like nothing happened.
I know. It's a problem. It's a big problem because like the moment like, I don't know, it's awful. Fuck you, WWE. What are you doing?
It's just lazy. Like, it wouldn't take anything to fix it, but they won't do it. So, and especially, and now they're hanging out with, like, I mean, and like one of, like, Seth's holding a chair and Roman's not even like having like flashbacks or anything.
I know, it's not cool.
Yeah, I don't know, Sami. I mean, I'm a Sami guy too. But I don't know. I mean, when like around when he first, I guess like last year at this time, maybe when he was because he made a surprise Rumble appearance and then went back to NXT and then came back up. So I think around this time there were rumors that like Vince was high on him, and I think the idea was that he was going to be like Daniel Bryan 2.0. Yeah, and that hasn't happened. And I say that as a guy that loves him, but you know, for reasons of how they presented him, and also just that he doesn't seem to have clicked with the audience that way.
Right. Sure. And you know,
so maybe now, I don't know. He's been I mean, he's really, the Strowman thing's been the best thing for him, because before that he was just lost, and now I'm kind of worried that now that the Strowman thing is probably wrapping up, that he'll just be lost again.
He's lost without the Kevin Owens anchor. That he even beat Kevin.
Well, they went to that well too early, in my opinion.
He beat Owens in that feud in July or so, and then
Battleground, right?
He won the feud, so it looked like, oh, you know, they are going to do something with him. So right now, you know, not everyone can be pushed hard at the same time, of course. So so they're pushing Strowman right now, and Zayn's not getting the push. But you know, they did give Zayn. They gave him technically, I guess, a win over Strowman at Roadblock. I thought it was not. I don't think either guy came.
I mean, it was a tie.
Good. Right. So I mean, right now is not Zayn's time, but at least he's on TV. And putting him in the main event, like they put him in the main event of Raw. So there are certainly worse spots to be. I mean, you know, it's fine for someone who's not getting pushed right now. It's fine. You know, what they're doing is fine for the most part.
I mean, it's like I said, it's always better to be doing something. Strowman is a guy they have big plans for, obviously, so he's playing a big role in getting him over. And I think it's helped Sami, but as with everything in wrestling, it's what happens next that matters, and I don't know that anything happens next for him.
This time of year, it's easy to get lost in the shuffle because the part-timers are back. So hopefully, you know, Zayn gets through this period, and then we'll see after Mania. That'll be, I think, the bigger sign of what do they really think of him now, you know, after this first year on the main roster. I think after Mania, we'll get a better idea of where they position him on the card.
So I guess we can just wrap up talking about like this angle from last night. So did you like the main event, or?
For the most part, it was good when Braun Strowman wasn't wrestling.
Oh, that's right. So probably Gino still can't hear, so you won't.
And when they tag Braun Strowman,
it's just he's not. Is there anything he could do to change your mind?
So I haven't seen the Last Man Standing match with Zayn, and apparently that's Strowman's best performance on the main roster. So I would need to check that match out. I missed Raw that night, so it's not 100% fair for me to say everything I've seen. You know, everything he has done has not clicked for me. But pending that, watching that match, it's just when Braun Strowman's in the ring. Not that I ever can fully suspend my disbelief, but like he takes me out of it right away. Like the way he's in there when he's getting hit on, like when he's doing his offense, that's fine. When he's taking the beating, it's just like, so first he does like the stunned head shake thing, which I guess a lot, you know, Sid, if you watch WrestleMania 8 with Sid and Hogan, it's just as terrible then. But anyway, he does it, but it looks worse to me than when other big guys do it. And then it's like when they set up for certain spots, sometimes it's only a few seconds off, but it's like he's putting himself in that position a few seconds ahead of time. He just kind of puts his face out there for Seth Rollins' knee, and it's not a huge like delay, but it's enough where it's like, oh man, like you're just waiting there to take the move. Or like Seth Rollins' blockbuster. This is going back to more of their match when they had a one-on-one a week ago or whatever. But anyway, Strowman is clearly. What he does in the ring is, for me, is awful. Like it's tough for me to watch Braun Strowman wrestle. So I'm definitely not looking forward to Braun Strowman a one-on-one matches. Match like this is fine because it's 3-on-3, and they just bring him in to get the pin. That's fine. Right. But if they're actually going to do Strowman versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, or Strowman versus Undertaker, I think these matches are going to be god awful. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the Reigns match could be okay. I said this last week. I have no interest in Strowman Taker for a multitude of reasons. I don't know. I liked that Zayn match. I liked it. I don't think I loved it as much as a lot of people did. Okay. I mean, I didn't think it was revelatory in the way. I mean, some people were like, "Holy shit, he's arrived." And I'm not quite there yet. But I am somebody who I think, like, when Gino was first, whether it was ironically or not, freaking out about him last year, I was like, oh, fuck this shit. But he slowly started to win me over a little bit. But I also get what you're saying, because there are people for me who and it's always been this way for me, and it's still, even though people are back on his bandwagon now that he turned heel, but like a Ziggler match, I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't want it.
Right. What, heel Ziggler isn't fresh enough for you, Sean?
No, I just don't. And and the more I hear about him like going to the inaugural and stuff, and so there's a whole bunch of shit mixed in my Ziggler antipathy, but he's like that for me. Like, it doesn't matter. I recognize his skills, and it's just still, I just can't possibly attach.
What's funny is last week I was watching the Strowman and Rollins match, and I tried to pay extra attention to it. Lots of times if there's a match on Raw where it's like it's like a match that doesn't matter, I just turn my back to whatever, and just watch the finish. But I tried to watch the whole match because I'm trying to be fair to Braun Strowman. I don't just want to be a complete hater, maybe a 99% hater. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm trying to watch the match. What can you do?
I appreciate that.
I enjoy Seth Rollins' work. I was like, maybe let's see. And so, and I see immediate reaction to some people. It's like, oh, it was a fine match. It was fine. And I watch it and I'm like, man, this is terrible. And now, so then I listen to Dave Meltzer the next day on Observer Radio, and okay, so I should preface this with lots of times when Meltzer's star ratings and things come out and his takes on matches, I find myself in pretty close agreement with Meltzer on the stuff that I've seen and that he's seen. And some people are losing their minds. How could you give this thing 3.75 stars? It was clearly 4.25 and all this stuff. And it's just like, come on, really? But anyway, but for the most part, I generally agree with Meltzer. And the next day, Meltzer goes on Observer Radio, and he's like, yeah, that was pretty good performance by Braun Strowman. And I'm like, you have betrayed me, Dave Meltzer. What are you talking about? So maybe I am just irrationally down on Braun. I don't know, but it doesn't work for me right now.
Well, and at this point, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you and I, as a couple of guys who just started out in the comments when Cage Side wasn't nearly as big as it was, it's weird to think of this, but you are now like an internet wrestling personality who has put out a position on this, so you're sort of invested in it too. Like, you don't want to have to come back and like eat crow and be like, yeah, Braun Strowman's awesome.
Right.
So I get that too.
One final comment I'll say about Strowman before I shut up about complaining about him is my guess, and you would have a better take on this than me because you saw the Last Man Standing match, but my guess is the best way to make Strowman work is to have these gimmicks where you can use the tables and the chairs, almost like Shane, like we were talking about before, and you can. With a Last Man Standing match, you can stand around for 10 seconds and it's not awkward because it's part of the rules of the match. But I think generally speaking, you need to gimmick up his matches. Like if he fights Roman Reigns, I think they need to have gimmicks in that match. I really have a hard time seeing how a one-on-one is going to really be great or good.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do, at this point, like I said, I do think he's getting better. But at this point, if you're going to do much more than the 2-minute squash,
right,
where you just go, wow, he threw that dude far.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you have to. I think if we got like a Reigns Strowman thing, I think it would have to end up being at least no DQ. You have to. Yeah, you know what? Give him some props, and like you said, that's a really good observation too. I think that's why the Last Man Standing worked at the time that they gave him, because a lot of it is, is Sami dead? No, he's not.
Right.
Yeah. So
right. If he and Roman had if they had a. WrestleMania 1, we had Andre and Big John Studd in a body slam challenge. I think that was WrestleMania 1. What if at WrestleMania 33 we bring in the Christmas tree body slam challenge or I'm up for that. If it's Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns suplexing Christmas trees or something, I'm down with that.
There you go. Yeah, some sort of like other like large holiday decorations they could do. I don't know. I mean, it's something, giant candy hearts for Valentine's Day. I don't know. Oh yeah, Braun. So I don't. So yeah, I guess we sort of skipped over it, but yeah, I don't know what else this. I thought this was like the best use of Lesnar in probably a year.
You know what? I think I love Brock Lesnar, and they have had too many of his appearances where he's just there next to Paul Heyman, doing nothing. And you have so many lower card guys on the roster that to me, every time he shows up, he should be destroying at least a low card guy. And this time he got in there with Zayn and then the upper card guys. So to me, if he's on the show and Jinder Mahal isn't getting destroyed or whoever the lower card guys are, to me it's a problem. Jack Swagger, whoever. It's every time he shows up,
missed opportunity,
wrecking someone. I was definitely happy to see this. I was disappointed he didn't show up again at the main event angle when everything's got crazy. I was like, yes, more Brock is coming, but we didn't get it.
It's past his bedtime.
I know, right? it was to the sleep part of his eat sleep.
He cashed his check and he was on the way back to Canada.
Right.
I'm with. The other thing I liked about this too last night is that I think I don't know. He's like the quintessential like tweener guy who's just going to get a reaction. And he went in there and he destroyed the baby faces, but then he had the stare down with Strowman, who's a pretty clear heel.
Right.
So I like Brock as, you know.
Now, last year at the Rumble, he fucked Braun up pretty good in that Rumble. This is when Braun really couldn't do anything in the ring, but I actually I never got around to writing about it because I couldn't figure out how to write words about it. But last year I went to watch Braun's appearance in the Royal Rumble. This is like a month later. I was just going to watch Braun, just focus on him the entire 15 minutes or whatever he was in, and then try to write something about it for Cage Side Seas. And I watched the 15 minutes, and I just didn't know what to say about it. So it was one of those lost ideas that never happened. But because he was just in the corner the whole time, like touching Jericho, and it was just kind of weird. And then eventually Lesnar gets in there, and Lesnar goes to town on him, and Lesnar, basically forces his ass to the ground. it was a little awkward.
Yeah, it looks. Somebody just posted a GIF of that somewhere. Recently.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that was stiff as hell.
Yeah. So they have faced each other before, technically, and I guess we're gonna get round 2 this time at the Rumble.
I guess so. We'll see how they figure all that out. But that's I
guess when it comes to the Rumble again, whichever of the big men show up early on, I guess aren't going to win because the big men never last for more than
No, exactly.
15 minutes. So like if Undertaker comes out early, we know he's not going to win. So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on during the Rumble. If none of them come in the first 15 or so entries, they're all going to be in the ring together towards the end, and any of them could win. Freaking Braun Strowman could win. I kind of expect Baron Corbin's going to be in there early on, and he's going to get dumped out relatively early. I don't think he's going to hang around with the.
I think Corbin to me seems like the kind of guy. Like he would be the guy that they'll have him go in early. He'll pick up like 5 eliminations over the first like 20 minutes, and then he'll get dumped before the big stuff starts to happen.
What about Cain? Cain usually gets.
Well, I was thinking that
he's
earlier.
Another big guy, and we haven't mentioned him. Is he even on SmackDown these last few weeks? Like, what is he doing? Is he the Big Show where he shows up once every few months, or?
I think so. I think he's working house shows. I think he might have like a Rumble streak going of like consecutive appearances. I think he's gonna have to show up.
I was tracking this at some point in 2000, the damn year he did the John Cena thing. He didn't wrestle in the Rumble that year. He wrestled John Cena on the show because he came back with like his mask again. He wrestled on the pay-per-view, but he didn't wrestle in the Rumble match.
Huh. I thought he had I know it doesn't. Well, he has like the record for the most eliminations over the course of the history of the event. So
it just seems like he should be in this match. Like that's his thing. But if all these other big guys are getting 3 or 4 eliminations each, what's left for Cain to get tossed out by Strowman? I guess I don't know.
I feel like Kofi's in, so we're gonna get something there, and New Day's making all the noise about how they're in it together. So
and once again, like your worries with Cesaro about he's just gonna get tossed out real fast. As New Day's giving their promo yesterday, trying to hype up how big a deal that if one of them win, they all win. I'm like, you guys, like I get it that we know you have no chance, but like you really have no chance. like it's just like even though you're some of the bigger stars of the show, it's just like you're not gonna Lesnar, Goldberg, Taker. It's like
that's the other thing too. Like I would in a normal year, I would think that New Day probably gets in there early, they eliminate a few people, and then they kill time with the big like promo segment while they're in the ring. How they like to do, but I don't see how they fit that in this year. Like there's no. I don't know.
Maybe they just early on. There was a year, 1989 or so, where Demolition, Axe, and Smash were the first 2 entrants. Maybe this year, Biggie and Kofi or something are the first 2 entrants, and they do their whole New Day stuff early on and get it out of the way.
That would make sense. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I don't know. Do you have anything to say about Enzo and Cass and Rusev? I really don't.
I hope this is the end of their feud, but I would think that they want Cass to get a one-on-one win over Rusev at some point. I don't think he's done that yet, but hopefully not. Hopefully they don't want that, and hopefully they're just ready to move on. I thought the match kind of sucked, but it was like a 5-minute match. It's kind of hard to do something good in 5 minutes. It was, it's a garbage feud, and it was kind of a garbage match.
It's crazy how that one episode, the controversial one, was like dedicated to this feud, and they were the big ending segment, and now they're like, okay, here's 5 minutes at 8:30.
right. They got Which look, you know what? It deserves that. I mean, really.
But let me be perfectly clear. I am not complaining. I'm just like scratch my head a little bit.
Right. It's like
all right, we got cruiserweight stuff going on. We're getting ready. We got a big I Forfeit match tonight.
Now,
Jack Gallagher and Arya Daivari.
One of the things that I was most excited about with the cruiserweights, in addition to the fact that I generally enjoy these cruiserweight matches, are that at the time when they debuted, I think it was late September or so, on Raw, it meant that we were not going to see, like, something had to be bumped off the show to make time for Cruiserweights. And at the time, it was Darren Young, Bob Backlund, and Titus O'Neil. Whatever they were doing was bumped off the show, essentially. Yep. So now it's like Titus O'Neil is back on the show having horrible segments. Like, what is bumped? Was it Sasha Banks that was bumped off the show for like what?
Yeah, she had to get assaulted on the pre-show.
Right. Like, I'm like, what? How did Titus O'Neil how is he getting TV time now? Aren't there too many Cruiserweight segments? What's going on? But anyway, what do you think about that? There were 2 Cruiserweight matches on the show, and then 1 segment, if you will. It was supposed to be a match. Swan's match never started. Neville attacked him right away. So there were 2 matches, and there was that Swan segment with Neville. So, like, I see Daivari in there with Dorado, and they only gave him 2 minutes. I mean, they know the fans are so silent for these guys. It's a nothing thing. But it's like, my impression of Daivari, I haven't really watched 205 Live, okay? So I guess I'm not the best kind of fan for this, but it's like, when I've seen Daivari on Raw, he's basically a Braun Strowman squash guy. Like, that's my perception. But he comes out, he loses, and I get, like, they're building up for this match tonight, I guess, the ice forfeit thing, so that's why he got his win. But it's like, I have a really hard time taking him seriously, even as opponent for Jack Gallagher. Like, Jack Gallagher has been presented as a pretty interesting guy, and I think he's just going to stomp all over Daivari tonight. Do you have doubt in your mind about this match?
Oh, no. Okay. I think and I do watch 205 Live just because I haven't really been able to sucker anybody else into covering it regularly. It's a decent show. I don't love it. It's had some good moments. But yeah, my take is, I guess Daivari is just like one of the more polished guys that they had out of that.
Yeah.
And an ability to, like, work a match and the ability to be trusted on the mic. Because as much as I love, like, Cedric, he's hit and miss on the microphone. So there's different guys that have some different skills. And he's one of the ones that was most, I don't think, his ceiling is Jinder Mahal.
Okay, right. You know what? I'm not complaining about Daivari's performance, right? I'm just wondering, like, if their job was to make me think he's like a threat of some kind, it's not happening. No, I don't. I don't. I think maybe they tried that a little. I don't know. I'm trying to think. When they did on 205 Live, they had a pretty entertaining, they've had a couple of, the first one, the duel was more fun than the parlay they had last week, I think. But even in those, Gallagher's come out on top at every. Daivari getting the upper hand is him, like, sneaking attack Gallagher before in an entrance. Right.
He's never.
Sorry, I'm jumping into this Rumble again so much. But do you think the Cruisers have any representation in the Rumble, or they're just not? They can't hang with the big guys. Is that the idea? They stick to themselves.
I would think that. I don't know. Kalisto might get in there maybe. I don't know. That might. Apparently. And you can, if you watch it, you see the, like, I think, Rev calls him like a tiny British Bob Backlund. I think Vince loves Gallagher.
Right.
So I could see maybe. They're not going to get a sec. Neville and Swan, I think, are out because they're in.
Right. Yep.
I don't know. That's a good question. I could see them. They'd be pretty good fodder guy. Like, to send Brian Kendrick in there. It's a name that people would recognize.
Right. If they just want to, I guess the Cruisers will get bumped if they have surprise entries.
That's it.
But what was I going to say? I think in 2012, that Rumble was the year they did Santino's sock off with Foley, and they did. Right. I forget if it was the same year where they had all the commentators come in. I might be off a year, but anyway, they've done some. Sometimes they do their comedy spots in the Rumbles. I think Gallagher maybe has a better chance than the others of getting in, because once you get past Neville and Swan, Gallagher is probably the most prominent face in that division right now.
Yeah.
So I think if they're going to do a comedy spot of some kind with him in there, maybe with Kofi or something, maybe he'll get a quick, cameo.
Yeah, I can see that. I would not. He'd be somebody I could see getting, or maybe, who knows? Maybe they do the kind of thing where he just walks down during the Rumble for a little, like, comedy. I don't know. I could see them trying to get him on screen though, because I think the plan for the Cruiserweights is that Neville wins, and then Gallagher is going to be the one that ends up taking down Neville.
Right.
Let's
talk about Neville. What about a month ago? I was doing this podcast with you, and I was complaining to you about Braun Strowman, like I always do.
Yes, of course.
And I said one of my arguments was you could book anyone the way they booked Braun Strowman, and it'll work, because when you book a guy to just destroy people every week, it works. Neville is Braun Strowman, except he's a guy who I love when they do it with him, because he can deliver a great match. So
Maybe they listen to you.
Right, so I'm loving the Neville stuff, and he's a badass dude. And yesterday, he was even kind of more menacing looking, because as he's kicking the shit out of Rich Swann, his like hair is like clumped in his mouth or something. Like his hair was in his face in a weird looking way where it's not. He looks super even more evil than you know. Anyway, Neville's awesome, and I love this whole King of the Cruiserweight stuff, and I'm really glad that they seem to be running with him right now. So
yeah, I think he's. I mean, I guess the rumor that I read somewhere is that like Vince is pretty frustrated with how the cruiserweights have gone, so he's going to lean on guys he trusts like Neville.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think he's been phenomenal in this, and I love how he's done. Like, I feel like I always get a kick out of when wrestlers do like little things that make him like. I feel like he has like deliberately shaved his hair higher to accentuate his image and stuff. Right. I'm on board, and he got a big moment at the UK tournament. He had a. You know, to break up the action and to give the guys a break in between the matches, he came out for a big promo talking about how he was the greatest thing that Britain ever produced and led to a little match. So I mean, and you know, that's the only thing that I'm worried about with Neville is what I was worried about when they announced they were doing cruiserweights again, is that I think he could be a guy, he could be a Mysterio kind of guy who could conceivably win on the main event level and like be believable in that role. I mean, like I don't.
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
I don't want to see him taking down. You know,
put a limitation on his ceiling.
But yeah, I don't want him to just be in the cruiserweight ghetto.
Oh, I know, I get it. Even like if Chris Benoit could become a main event of WrestleMania kind of guy, Neville can do that too. Neville to me is just as good a worker, and he can talk. He can talk, you know, as well as Benoit could. Right? I mean, for me right now, the key with Neville is keep letting him talk, and maybe it's easier for heels to get over on the microphone. And maybe it's harder for his baby face shtick. So get him over as a heel. Let him be just a douchebag on the microphone, and he can reach a certain level of popularity where if they were to turn him back into a good guy, the fans already have a certain, you know, maybe hopefully think more highly of him, so they care a little more when he talks as a baby face. Yep. So I think it works right now. Be a heel and just kick everyone's ass and be a badass heel. And I think they could possibly turn him back into Rey Mysterio down the line. I mean, you know.
And I think the other thing. I think I was talking to Mark about this in the orifices is that Neville's the kind of guy that he proves how important. I think Mark might have even written about this yesterday. Neville proves that something that they're doing like at NXT in the Performance Center works, because he is not a guy that you would say, yeah, let him talk for 10 minutes. Like even at the height of his NXT run when he was the champ and main eventing, you know, you didn't want to trust him to carry a long promo segment, and now he does it really.
Right,
you know, easily.
And that they let him do it is a really good sign, because Cesaro still struggles to get mic time. You know, I mean, and so it's a really good sign that Neville's getting that. So good for him.
Yay, Neville!
And so the other cruiserweights, Cedric Alexander is interesting when they eventually get him away from Alicia Fox, but his finishing move, the lumbar check, is amazing. That thing looks awesome every time.
I love that. I thought Kendrick sold the shit out of it last night too. He like the pop up and then he.
Oh yeah. Him and Kendrick. Once again, they only got like 5 minutes, but I thought for those 5 minutes they did about as good as you can do in 5 minutes. I thought they had a pretty fun match, and I really like both those guys, really. But I really like Cedric Alexander, and at some point, maybe it's him and Neville down the line, whatever it is. I'm looking forward to you know, bigger
like I said, I think
matches out of him.
And I guess, and this is like you said, the angle is not for everybody. It's got some hashtag problematic elements,
right?
But the fact that they've decided to put him in this Alicia Fox thing, which keeps him on screen, is a sign that they are excited about him, and they're trying to cover up for the fact that he's not somebody you would want to give a microphone to for 10 minutes now.
Right. And he's not just generic wrestler guy who does good moves. Like, he has a storyline now. Yep. So for some people that'll hook him into his character, and others maybe not. But at least he's not just he's coming in to wrestle a 2-minute. You know, he's whatever, Drew Gulak or whatever. Who do you know anything about Drew Gulak? I don't think.
I don't know. Rev. I know he's in Evolve.
Just from Raw. Like if we just watch Raw,
right? You wouldn't know. You know he wears weird clothes. And,
right. So like so it's good to at least have a storyline. Alicia Fox is being the crazy woman storyline. I think. I mean, I'm generally not a fan of over the top. Like her screaming on. I get it. She's crazy girl and all this stuff. So I get it, I guess. But
there's a GIF I've seen floating around of her, like, but her reaction where she did the "I don't want to talk about it" thing. Right. That's pretty funny. I don't. It's not for me. It's like the argument Gino and I have about the Bella Twins YouTube channel. I don't have a problem with it existing, but I'm not going to mark out for it.
We saw the best performance in the persona of Crazy Girl from AJ Lee a few years ago. And what Alicia Fox does can't hold a candle to what AJ Lee did.
Yeah, this is true. So it has, it's okay. We'll see. I don't know. I liked Cedric's little fake out hug thing.
Yes,
that was kind of
yeah.
slick. So I mean, it's all right. I don't love it, but I don't hate it as much.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I don't hate it more than I do.
Right. So that was all the cruiserweight stuff on the show.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, you didn't get any TJ Perkins. I know you're a fan of that, right?
He's a guy that's like Ziggler. Like, I know he's a really good wrestler, but I cannot get over the fact that I just want to punch him in the face.
Right.
For a million different reasons. Like, I had to like mute his Twitter account because all he fucking does is like retweet like compliments from girls. Like, dude,
oh man,
I don't know.
Yeah, Kevin Owens should give him a word or two.
I know, right?
Kevin Owens maybe doesn't know who he is.
I think Corey Graves. I don't. In 205 Live and on NXT, where he like complains about people who retweet compliments.
Speaking of. I don't know how I got to this guy, but this backstage interview guy yesterday, was this like a new guy or has he been around?
This guy, he's an NXT guy.
Okay.
When Kyle and I went to see NXT here in Baltimore with the Master Geek and Swift and a few other people and Bacon Strips, I think that was it. Just trying to shout out all the cage fighters. He was the ring announcer, and so that's his main thing. And they've slowly given him more interview stuff. I think this is the first time I saw him on Raw. I don't know.
Okay.
They've been moving because we've also been getting, Rev will tell you this. I don't always notice it, but like they've been bringing up some referees occasionally from NXT, so they're starting to mix in that whole crew a little bit.
Guy, I don't think this was a great first impression. I mean, I guess he's interviewing heels and stuff, so they're going to make him look like an idiot. But I don't know. He didn't seem to have much emotion in his voice. Maybe that's
he doesn't seem to. Like I said, I think he's maybe that's the ring announcer back there.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't seem to me like somebody who would be as fun to watch somebody torment the way Owens is or the way Renee is. I'm still trying to figure out what I think about Charlie Caruso, or as Owens calls her, random stranger. Because the same thing. I mean, I think she speaks well, she gets the points across, but I don't think she has that interplay that makes like a great backstage interviewer.
Extra appreciation for Renee Young.
Renee Young is gifted individual. God love her. Let's see. Tag title match stuff.
Oh yeah. So for the most part
of this, it seemed like from the highlights, it looked like it was a good match.
Yeah, I think this was probably my favorite match on the show, and then the end happened. This is my problem at Raw for the most part yesterday. Like even the segments that had some good stuff in them had some bad things in them in the same segment. So like for this match, they're doing this segment, the ending, where it's like a dusty finish, but on the heels of the victims.
Right.
Which is weird. So like, are we supposed to be happy that the heels won the match but then didn't get to have the title? I don't know. I guess it doesn't, like, I shouldn't think too much about what we're supposed to feel and just feel something, right?
Right.
So I felt like I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about Gallows and Anderson at this point. I mean, it's been all over the place.
I think the idea was they've lost so many times that they didn't want to just have job him out again. So we'll protect them here. But by doing that, they gave him like an ending that should go to a babyface. Like the babyface should be the one getting screwed over. So I don't know. Maybe they're just turning all the rules upside down and they don't care. It doesn't. What should have happened in the past isn't what should happen anymore.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, this is again, which is sort of, I guess, a theme for this podcast. I mean, these are guys that they think. They want to do something with them. They want us to because they're constantly, they have been the default number one contenders for the tag titles for like 8 months now.
Right.
And the fact that even though they never won, everybody hasn't completely tuned them out either. So they're connecting in some way. But I mean, it's like,
I'm pretty sure this was the top of the hour segment. I think.
Yeah,
I think this was. So they got a key segment. This is, you have your 4 key segments on the show, the top of every hour, pretty much, and they got one of the key segments. So,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still kind of dicey on what the end game for Cesaro and Sheamus is.
I don't know either. I mean, I'm still not ruling out. Some people think I'm nuts, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if AJ Styles is doing a 6-man tag with Gallows and Anderson at WrestleMania if he gets demoted, that far down. I mean, it might sound crazy because he's been the champ for so long, but to me, that New Day, the 3 of them versus the 3 of the other guys. Maybe we see New Day in the club so much, though. I don't know. But anyway,
I don't know.
It's
although, have we seen New Day versus the club with Styles?
I don't think with Styles.
That happened pre-brand split?
I mean, maybe it did, but it's been so long that
Yeah,
if it did, it was like a no-stakes match on a Raw or something.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm guessing that Gallows and Anderson are going to win the title. Maybe it's a dumb thing to guess since they lose every time, but I'm guessing they're going to win sometime in this month or February. I don't know.
I would think like standard pro wrestling logic would indicate that they've got to win soon.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't keep giving them chances. And because you have to think that Cesaro and Sheamus are destined to feud again.
Do you think a year ago when Enzo and Cass debuted, it was like, oh, they're going to be the champs, they were so popular with the catchphrases and everything, and they're over right now. Enzo just comes out and does his shtick and everyone's into it. So it's like everyone, at least I was thinking at the time, oh, they're going to groom them to be your New Age Outlaws type guys who are going to be the champs, on and off and be, come out with their fancy promos and everything, and their matches aren't that great, but because they're so over, it doesn't matter. I'm not even looking at Enzo and Cass as like tag championship material right now. Even though that's a weird thing to say because what is tag championship material? But like they're like maybe they'll use Gallows and Anderson to get Enzo and Cass back in there. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, this is the same thing that ended up happening to Enzo and Cass in NXT. Although in NXT they were at least always contenders. They were sort of the Gallows and Anderson team that was always really close to winning and never quite got over the hump. But yeah, they're not even like they don't even put them in that. I don't even think of them as a tag team, really. Like in terms of like a competitive, like that part of it.
Yeah. Well, now they're rising up the ranks. They just beat Jinder and Rusev.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, the League of Nations Junior.
Maybe, you know what? We talk about trying to get the WrestleMania card down pat. Maybe Enzo has a talking something with The Rock. Maybe that's how they get Enzo on the card. Maybe there is no match for Enzo and him and The Rock.
That would probably be good for a lot of people who hate Rock and Enzo.
Oh no! You know what? If Rock's going to be on the show, he should be in a segment with Enzo.
That way, everybody who hates that sort of attitude era, let's make sex jokes thing can just tune out the one segment. You don't have to tune out two separate ones.
Right. We need to talk about Charlotte and Bayley at some point.
Yep. So I think that's next because we've already talked about. I don't really have anything else to say about the New Day and Titus.
Yeah, I hope this Titus crap is over. It's just
I hope so. I mean,
there's nothing going on there. And
the stipulation is he's not allowed to bug them anymore.
I know. They wanted it so badly they put Big E's opportunity at the Rumble on the line. So hopefully that's the end of it. And we've had 3 weeks maybe in a row of this crap. And I guess this was the best of the 3 weeks maybe, but low bar. We don't need to see any more of this. So yeah, hopefully next week it's the last show before the Rumble. Hopefully they figure out something else the New Day can do that doesn't involve Titus O'Neil. Anyway, Charlotte and Bayley. So
I was home by this point, so I saw all of this. So Charlotte she was going to unveil her winning strategy for the Royal Rumble. It was a long Charlotte promo.
Yeah, her winning strategy is to just talk for a really long time until her opponent falls asleep. I think for the most part, like it was a good promo for the most part. It was just too long.
I see. I guess this is one of those players. I guess Charlotte is doing her job as a heel well because when she goes on these rants, I want somebody to come out and shut her up. So I guess that's mission accomplished.
I think it was an effective promo. She came off like a giant asshole, which is the goal, right? One part that I thought was weird is she's trying to read the poem off the Titantron or something.
Oh, right.
Was she supposed to be able to read it?
I don't know.
She turns it on to the fans in a pretty good way. But like, I don't know what that was about. Like, why would they have her try to read the poem? Or it looked awkward.
And it looked like, even though I think the poem, the one that they showed on the screen, it looked like it had like something like blurred out on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if that was. I don't know what they were trying to get across there. So
thankfully, some fan or she threw it on a fan. And said, you don't chalk over the champ, whatever she said, and that was good. She got out of that awkward moment for.
Why don't you read it if you can or something?
Right.
She even like made that like a vision joke, so it didn't seem like she was making fun of him being illiterate because it's PG era.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, this got across. I mean, she got to shout out her own credentials as like a legit athlete and Ric Flair's daughter, and she got to make fun of Bayley in a way that, in theory, gets Bayley more over because she's one of us who's always dreamed of doing this, et cetera, et cetera. Then Bayley comes out, and says enough of that, and has some other poems that she's written on the fly for her.
This is my issue, Sean.
All right, lay it on me.
So, like I said, a lot of segments on the show. The good and the bad came together in the same segment. So, for the most part, I know I complained about it being too long, but I thought Charlotte's promo was effective. Mm-hmm. Bayley comes out, and I thought Bayley countered pretty well for the most part too. But then she gets to her poems,
Right.
and I don't know if this is something that's consistent maybe with her NXT character. You could talk about that more than me, but she comes out there for the poems and she says like something like, "Oh, I have a few more poems right now," or something. And right away, my immediate reaction was, "Don't say roses are red, violets are blue. Don't say roses are red, violets are blue. Please don't do that." And then right away, roses are red, violets. I'm like, no, why? Why are you doing this? And I thought it was a bad ending to that segment. And were the fans booing her, or was I just hearing things, or was it not applause? It wasn't whatever it was. I don't think it was a great reaction. But
I thought the reaction was okay. I'd have to go back and watch it. I don't think they were booing it. They might have been some groans.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. Maybe that was it, or maybe I'm just hearing things. But what did you think about the poems? Is that like what she does in NXT's kind of awkward?
This was. I mean, yeah, she does this sort of awkward. I think it's both that she's not that great of a promo, and that they have embraced that as part of her character. Like that's her awkward charm kind of thing.
Okay.
The poems to me is a very much of like, here's Vince writing, Vince doing what he wants to do, regardless of whether he thinks that she can really nail it kind of thing. I thought the one that really I thought was horrible was the roses are red one. I thought the other two were okay. I mean,
yeah. I was so infuriated after hearing the roses are red. I don't remember the other, something about that ramp and the champ or whatever. I don't know, but basically overall it was a good segment because I think it got over the idea that Charlotte needs to get her ass kicked by one of the commoners, and that was the whole goal, is that Bayley's average like you, so you can relate to her. So overall, I do think the ending sucked, but overall I think it was an effective segment. I think they needed a segment like that because we need more than just the random tags and all that stuff. And even Nia Jax, I thought the thing they did with her and Sasha was fine as well, because the alternative, I guess, is that you have Sasha wrestle a jobber or something, then Nia attacks her in the arena, I guess. I don't know. So I think it was good to have like that. They haven't done the pre-show attack thing in a while, so I think it's good to get it, do it now. And I obviously it would be nice if they could get on the show, but like I said, were they going to get on the show on a random tag again or something? I don't know. So I think it's fine.
I mean, I think the thing with the Bayley thing for me is I saw a lot of complaints about it online on the Twitter machine and everything. And I don't know. I think I'm going to go back and check it out because I think the reaction was pretty good in the arena. I think they got what they wanted out of it. I thought Bayley's stuff about her dad taking her to the thing even though they didn't have money, I thought that was good. It wasn't, it was not a John Cena promo, but I don't think that's her character. So I hope that she develops some more so that she can become the kind of person that we were talking about with like Angle, where she can sort of change gears a little bit better than she does right now. But for where she's at right now, I thought this was pretty good. I thought it, it was a smartly put together segment because it hit all the points that they wanted to hit.
Before she got to the poems, I thought it was she was really good. I liked her promo part of it before she got to the poems. So I thought she did well. So
we'll see. I think the important thing, the money in Bayley is not necessarily in keeping a bunch of people my age, especially guys my age, excited about Bayley.
Right.
If she can do that, which she did manage to do it in NXT, they managed to sort of like book around her weaknesses and keep everybody on the same page. That might not be possible with the way that they present Raw. So we'll see. I don't know, but I thought it was a good segment. I thought they both did pretty well with it. And like I said, my main thing with I guess that means Charlotte's doing a really good job, but I just want her to stop talking as soon as she starts. And I don't know. And there were a couple of things in there. She still, every one of her promos has something like that where I'm like, was that supposed to be a joke? Or with like the reading thing? It's and she says everything the same way. So I can't tell
she has a weird promo style. It's so bizarre. Sometimes it clicks perfectly. Sometimes it's so bad, and like a lot of times there's a little of both. And it's very her the way she speaks is weird. As a pro wrestling delivery, it doesn't seem natural, but it doesn't necessarily seem bad. Like it's hard to describe.
So the other thing I guess I would say, since we sort of touched on the Sasha and Nia stuff, I like that I like what they're doing with that a lot. I'm a little bit, this has been my problem with how Raw does the women's stories in general, is I feel like sometimes they go out of order. It's like we had the stuff where Sasha was like, I'm not the boss anymore, and then Nia wrecked her and like didn't even bother to finish her and said I broke the boss, and then we got Sasha came back smiling and sort of like messed up the tag thing, and then we weren't talking about the broken boss stuff anymore. She was doing smiling segments with Bayley backstage, like teasing a feud between them. And now we're back to the broken boss.
Yeah.
So I like that, and I think it's headed in the right direction, but it's a little frustrating to me that, it could have been. Again, like I said, I'm a wrestling fan. I like what we got, but it could have been better. So.
Right. Do you think WrestleMania is going to be the rumored Fatal 4-Way?
Probably. I don't know how else they get everybody on the
Right.
card.
Do they have to get everyone on the card? I guess they do.
I don't think they do. I don't think it would be horrible to do if they.
Sure, I don't think they do, but I think they do.
I think you could do a hot one-on-one match between Bayley and Charlotte if that's the way you're going. And
if they do the 4-Way, I think it's going to have a hard time being better than the 3-Way from last year. It's just when you get the extra person in there and it's Nia Jax, I mean,
yeah,
Nia Jax is going to have to lay around doing nothing for large portions of the match, probably, because she's going to do her monster stuff where she destroys people, and then they're going to
they'll have to do, like, the horsewomen will team up to take Nia out for a while.
And then it's a 3-Way, I guess, with Bayley. I guess last year I had Becky, just want to have Bayley, but I don't know. I think it's a little disappointing.
This is like, how do we get? I mean, we're back to the Mania card again, but they got to get. I mean, you got to think Nikki Bella's going to find her way on this show somehow.
Yeah. Yep.
Do we think she's going to be back in the SmackDown title picture by then?
Yeah, I could see her challenging for the title against whether it's Becky or Alexa, or maybe someone who maybe is going to debut soon. Who knows?
Yeah, interesting. But you're not going to get more than 2 women's matches on the show.
What you're gonna get is Nikki Bella and John Cena both winning titles to close the show out, and a giant middle finger to anyone who is sick of John Cena and Nikki Bella.
And then Cena finally proposes.
Yes. Oh, you know what? That'll be worth it. Yeah. Then we get the total Bella. We get the tie, and you know what? I'm okay with that. That's fine.
That'll probably happen. Gino would just pass out. He wouldn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's the whole show because we already talked about the main event.
Yep.
So were you disappointed Triple H didn't show up? Did we
No,
talk about that?
I'm never disappointed when Triple H doesn't show up. Like on the one hand, him not showing up has been a major part of fucking up both Rollins and Owens over the last several months. Yep. But I don't need Triple H around. In fact, I would be much more excited about WrestleMania if Triple H wouldn't just stop wrestling at WrestleMania. So I don't want him around. So go away, Triple H. Pretend it's football season still.
Yeah, the only person who thinks Triple H needs to be on the Mania card, I think, is Triple H.
Right, and maybe Vince, because Vince thinks he closed out WrestleMania with Triple H and Roman Reigns last year. I mean, but definitely Triple H first. I mean, Triple H thinks he's a big deal. But one final thought on this show is, speaking of authority figures, I don't think we got any Foley or Stephanie on this show, and I think the show was better for it.
I agree. I know, like I said, I know Gino's probably heartbroken because he loves those Stephanie segments where she yells at people. And
last week, Stephanie McMahon was really too much on that show, too. She was unbearable.
Yeah, like I said last week on this show, is the only thing I liked about last week is that Stephanie was consistently a heel, but it was too much. Yeah. At least, I mean, because I guess I'm more annoyed when she's like somebody's buddy in one segment.
Definitely. I agree with you.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on with Foley. He was teasing that he had to, he might be getting fired. They were doing the job. I don't know. But
maybe Commissioner Angle.
Ooh.
Or general manager. Which one's the commissioner and which is the general manager? I forget.
The McMahons are the commissioners. So
okay.
That job. Those are jobs for life, I think. I don't know.
Right. But, okay.
I don't know. So there we have it. I don't know anything. Are you watching SmackDown tonight? Where's your current relationship with the SmackDown product? I
haven't watched SmackDown since, I don't know, Undertaker showed up in November one show. I think I watched it then. I didn't even watch their big show at the end of December. I don't know. I'm checked out on SmackDown right now. It's
there's only so much time in the day.
That's the thing. So. It's not that I'm like, oh, SmackDown sucks. It's just It's not on Monday nights.
No.
If it was on Monday nights, I'd watch it. This is the show they give me on Monday night, so this is the show I'm watching.
Yep, I mean that's I've talked about it on here before too. That SmackDown is the one that I'm more likely to tune out of because I have less work responsibilities to it. So even though I always really enjoy it when I watch it, sometimes I tune out because I don't want to get divorced over wrestling.
Right, of course. Well, you got to straighten your damn priorities out, Sean.
I know, right? So I guess I'm watching tonight though because I haven't heard from Gino.
Is it Becky's match?
Tonight's the Becky Alexa Steel Cage match.
Hey, I read what happens on SmackDown and
there you go.
They seem to do a lot of they built a lot of television championship matches, it seems, on SmackDown, and this seems like a match where it's not some it seems like you could see a title change. It looks like it's a match they've built up to reasonably well, so hopefully they deliver on hopefully they give them the main event. What do you think? They give them the main event?
I think they will. I mean, unless Shane's announcement leads to something big tonight, I think they've built this up, and I think that's why people love SmackDown, is because they do a much better job of presenting the stories in the right order. Like I was complaining about. I mean, they've built to the point where a steel cage makes sense for these two. So.
Look at yesterday with Raw, Gallows and Aaron is just they're getting a title shot. Like there was no need. Like it's just that's what's happening tonight. Like that's not what's happened with Becky and Alexa, where it's just what's gonna happen tonight? Well, I guess she'll get a title shot. So so that's definitely better.
Raw's like we need something that feels important for 9 o'clock. Tag title match.
Right.
This is the steel cage Bliss Lynch match has been coming for a while. It makes sense. I'm sure there will still be interference, but it's wrestling. You can't complain.
It could be from someone who the fans want to see. Who knows?
So that's it. I don't know. Thanks for doing this, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Good talking to you.
Good talking to you too.
All right, I'm not gonna sing because that's Gino's thing. So just go fuck yourself. I'm not gonna.
Go fuck yourself.